Hello and welcome to This is Difficult Podcast episode 53. Right, Colin?
I have no fucking clue.
He doesn't know. He has
If
no
you said
idea.
100, I'd believe you.
This is episode 100.
Oh, wow.
The show where we talk about video games and other things, but mostly just video games. I'm here. My name's Paul. I'm here with Chamali and Colin. We have no Josh tonight,
Yeah.
sadly.
What's going on?
But yeah, we got Chamali with us hanging out. Yeah,
Drop in, bud.
we're gonna talk about some video games. Just so everyone knows what's going on as far as Josh is concerned, he just got a new job and we're trying to work around his schedule. That's why we ended up doing Monday, but then he was streaming. Big confusion there. But we'll get everything straightened out going forward. But yeah, so we're just trying to figure out scheduling because we definitely want to keep Josh on. But yeah, so that's what's going on there. Did you guys play any video games this week?
I've been deep into Monster Hunter lately, just hunting all the monsters.
Tell me about what is awesome about the new Monster Hunter DLC, because I actually really enjoyed Monster Hunter, and yeah, I kind of fell off the wagon when my Sherpa disappeared, you know. So, because that's definitely a game I need help on. So.
No, they did a great job with Iceborne, which is the new DLC. It actually just released on PC. It's been on like the PS4 and Xbox for a few months now, from my understanding.
Yeah.
And what they did was to get everyone back in it and to get new players alike, they introduced basically this new Defender tier armor, which is like it's not the best armor you can get in the game, but it's near the best, and so it really speeds you through the main story of the original. So like if you wanted to switch systems, now would be a great time. Not only the armor, but they give you new weapons. So if you wanted to try out weapons, now is a perfect time to do that as well. And then you jump into the Iceborne DLC, which introduces a whole new area, and it's, as it sounds, it's ice related. It gives you a bunch of new monsters, a whole bunch of old monsters from other games that they haven't introduced in Monster Hunter World yet.
Nice.
And they're returning. So, and then you have alternate like skins almost, or I don't want to say they're skins, but I can't really think of the word I'm looking for.
Like
But,
armors
like,
and stuff, right?
Armors, but I'm like the same monster, but different types.
Right,
So,
right.
like,
Yeah, because
the
you showed me the Otogoron one, right?
Yeah. So
And-
the Otogoron, they have like a ebony Otogoron now, which is a different. It's not just like a bleeding. It does also like dragon type, and it's so he's all black armor and he looks real tight.
Okay, so does the new armor have different like affinities or whatever, like different?
Yeah, so it's all master rank armor. So you had your low rank and high rank in Monster Hunter World.
Mhm.
Now they introduced master rank. It's the same. Most of the armors are completely redone. There are a couple that are just like palette swaps, but the majority of them have like completely different looks to them. All their skills are new, and they introduced new affinity gems. They're 4-slotted gems, and they have this basically what's now Clutch Claw. It's a new mechanic that they introduced for your hunter. And before you had your like slingshot that was attached to you that you can pick up things on the ground and shoot monsters.
Right.
Now with the Clutch Claw, you can target a monster and you just like grapple to them and hook onto them.
Oh, that's
And then you can
badass. Kind of like the hook shot from Zelda.
Exactly. So then you jump on the monster, and then you have like 3 different things. Like you can punch them in the side of the face and turn them. You can use, if you have ammo loaded into the slinger, you can shoot that at them, and it'll like, if they hit a wall, they'll get knocked down. Or you can use your weapon and just do like a massive hit on them. And if you hit them, with like the lighter weapons, they'll
Mhm.
drop some slinger ammo. And if you hit them with a heavier weapon, it'll wound them. So then you can do more damage to that area when you hit it.
Wow. Okay, so that all sounds awesome, but it also exemplifies why I need someone to hold my hand through that game, because that is a fucking lot of information.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
it definitely is. I
Yeah.
mean, the Monster Hunter game is a lot. I would say in general has a steep learning curve to it.
Yeah, they
but-
always have. Like I've bought like 3 or 4 iterations, like a few of them on Game Boy Advance, or not Game Boy Advance, on 3DS, as well as I think I had one for Wii U. And I've always played them for about like 30 minutes to an hour, and then been like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. This is very overwhelming. The one that I played the most of was Monster Hunter World, and I bought it on PlayStation, right? So you mentioned like now's a good time to switch. Yeah, that's the main thing that's kept me from continuing to play is I'm on PlayStation, and everyone that I would play with is on PC. How much is it right now?
I believe you can get Monster Hunter. The Iceborne DLC is $40,
Okay.
and I want to say the original Monster Hunter World went on sale for $22 over the weekend, but it might be about $30 normally.
Yowzer. See, that's a lot for a game that I don't play a ton of, you know. But I've definitely been considering it. I got a little bit of FOMO right now, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, definitely.
game's dope. The game is dope. Colin, have you been playing any games?
Yeah, I played Don't Starve Together this week. It was a lot of
nice.
fun. Yeah, I really like that game a lot. I haven't played. That's the first game I played all year, so that's pretty fun.
That is insane.
Yeah,
We have a gaming
Yeah.
podcast.
I know.
You're one of the
I literally,
hosts.
dude, I just haven't had time. I've been working literally every fucking day.
I
So
know.
it's finally slowed down, but I'm sure it'll pick up again pretty soon here. So.
Yeah, definitely.
In fact, I'm getting notes for my recent video right now. Like as we're talking, some lady's like messaging me, just being like, "Hey, we need to fix this," which is fine, but like, that's just what I'm doing. Like it's just a nonstop, you know.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. I love my work. It's been a lot of fun, but it's just kept me really busy, and I always feel like, oh, I need to work on this, you know. So,
Yeah, it's totally understandable, man.
Yeah.
Let's see. I've only been playing Destiny. I know that's a big surprise to everyone. I've been really, really, really trying to get this raid completed, and it just has not been working out for me.
I
Like,
watched your video. Did you fail at it, or like what happened?
were you watching me stream earlier?
It was 2 days ago, I think, or something like that, or like Saturday maybe. Maybe it was Saturday. It was Saturday. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah.
With
Saturday.
Adam?
Saturday we didn't make it. Oh well, with Adam we were just kind of fucking around. We weren't raiding. We did do a lot of stuff. Like I took him through the dungeon, which was really cool. It's something I've been wanting to take him through for a while, because that kind of like gave him his first piece of real end game loot, you know. Which was cool. Yeah, and then on Sunday actually we raided. I did not stream that though.
Okay.
And we got to the final boss and failed, and then we were like, hey, we can pick up from where we left off tonight, and we got so freaking close. So close. We got so close. But like it ran right up to 7:30, and I was like, hey, 7:30 is my hard cutoff time. I've got a responsibility because I'm on a podcast, and I've got friends that rely on me to be there. So, yeah, so we stopped. By the way, congratulations on the Whisper, Poppy. Very nice.
The Whisper?
Whisper the Worm is an exotic sniper rifle.
Oh, I was like, I have no
Yeah,
idea.
it's an exotic sniper rifle in Destiny. It's not very easy to get, so yeah. I mean, it's not super hard either, but it definitely takes a few tries. So, congratulations. That's very tough. Oh. But yeah, that's it for me. I do want to get back into Pokemon. I'm like really excited about Pokemon lately, especially with the new DLC on the horizon, and we got Temtem out right now.
Did you ever beat it?
No, I still haven't beaten it.
How far did you get in it?
Not very far. I think I've only beaten the first gym, which was dope. Like so I don't know why people complain so much about this game. Actually, I do. I'll get to that in a minute. But the way they do gyms now is super cool. Like it's way more interactive and like they do like these gym missions. So there's like gameplay instead of just like going from one trainer to the next and just fighting them. There's like gameplay in the middle. Like the first gym, you have to like herd fucking sheep throughout this entire gym as you're doing it. So there's just little mechanics like that make it interesting. The reason people don't like the game is because they think it could have been bigger, right? Which I could probably go on a tirade about that. Not like a tirade, but we talked about it a few weeks ago. The last time I talked about Pokemon and why I feel like Game Freak kind of makes their games almost like a half a generation behind where they should be. Is basically what that's all about. So, but I don't want to necessarily get too far into that.
But that's what the expansions are for, no? Is just make the world bigger.
Yeah. I mean, that's what these expansions are going to do. I think these expansions are taking the place of like the third game, right? So Pokemon always comes out with 2 games each generation, and then there's a third like mid-generation game, right? So like you had Pokemon Red and Blue here, and then you had Pokemon Yellow, and then you had Gold and Silver, and then what was it, Crystal, right? And so that's kind of how that's been their formula forever, and they're finally, I think, changing that formula. So instead of doing a whole new game, they're releasing these expansions that are going to iterate on the game that you already have. I honestly think it's a fine idea, but the internet will do what it does best and find ways to complain about everything. So, so yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah. You guys want to talk about Mandari with the sub? My goodness, a resub. What? How many months is that? 10 months? Oh my god! Jesus,
that's way too
Mandari.
long.
That is way too long.
Real quick, the other game I played was the new Star Wars Jedi game, Fallen Order.
Oh hell yeah!
I ended up beating that this last weekend.
Excellent. I need to get back into that. I was doing it on stream and I was really enjoying it, but I've kind of fallen off, and I need to get back in there because that game is dope. I'm loving it.
Yeah, like coming back to it after a while, it was like really difficult for me.
Yeah.
Especially when it was right at the end.
Right.
So I was fighting like boss after boss, and it was like, oh, okay, how do I do this again?
Yeah. I do wish it had better fighting mechanics. Like going from I don't know if you ever played Sekiro, but going from that game to Jedi Fallen Order is it's a big jump, right? Like they feel like the same game in essence as far as like your fight mechanics are concerned, but Sekiro is just so much more polished and so much more responsive, it's rough. So I wouldn't actually advise playing those games close together.
Well, I mean, Sekiro it's from Software. They've been doing how many 4 or 5 games like that. This was Respawn, so they're best known for what, Titanfall, first-person shooters.
Right, exactly. I think for their first kind of jump outside their niche genre, they knocked it out of the park for sure. So kudos to them. I can't wait to play more of that game because it's actually super fun. Yeah, I'm with you there. So what'd you think? Like without any spoilers, how'd you feel about finishing it?
I really enjoyed the game. Definitely one of my more enjoyable Star Wars experiences lately.
Did you like the latest movie?
Yes, actually I did.
I haven't seen it.
We know.
It's very controversial. I think if you took out the middle movie and you just maybe took out just some parts of it, you can get a cohesive story. The big problem I think with the latest trilogy was the fact that they jumped around from directors.
Yeah.
It's one vision, and then someone else is like, "Oh no, I got my vision. I'm going to put my vision in here."
Yeah. You know what was? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. I was just going to go back and be like, well, then you're going back to the original vision. Or
Sure.
Originally, they were going to do a completely different director.
Yeah, and speaking of all that, have you seen the recent what do you call it? The art, the concept art that was released?
No.
There's some fucking wild concept art that was released recently that looks badass, and none of that shit's in the movie.
Weird.
I was pissed before when they didn't shake hands. What do we mean didn't shake hands? Who didn't shake hands?
Yeah,
I must have missed that part. I apologize for missing that part. Let's see. Yeah, so I kind of agree with you. I think if you took the second movie and you cut out like maybe a third of it, right? And then you left that right there, and then you took like the first 45 minutes of the third movie and stuck it onto the part of the second movie that you still had left and just kind of stretched it out a little bit, then we'd have a perfect trilogy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean. There were just a couple things in the second one that just they could have taken and gone, either they could have expanded on it or they could have just completely axed it. But the problem was it jumped around too much and
right.
It was too hard to.
Yeah. I liked it overall, though. I'm with you. I wasn't as much of a fan of the second one. The third one I actually enjoyed. There was definitely some silly shit in it. Some real silly shit here and there. But for the most part, it was a fun movie. And that's what I want out of Star Wars. I just want some fun, badass, like, space wizards and shit.
You watched
like that,
The Mandalorian, didn't you?
Loved it, yeah.
That's like original Star Wars. That felt like right out of like an old Star Wars movie, you know? I was like, wow, the set is good, the feel and the look of it, the transitions, like everything was carefully crafted to look like original Star Wars. Very good.
I don't feel like the new trilogy doesn't have those qualities, especially the first one. The first one definitely had those qualities. And I think that there's
like The Force Awakens or that one?
Yeah. I like that movie a lot.
I'm rewatching that actually. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like that one too.
Yeah.
I agree.
But the second one was really dumb, I thought.
Yeah, the second one
I watched that recently.
Is rough.
I didn't finish it. I was very bored.
But the common criticism with the first one was that it was essentially a remake of.
It 100% was, like beat by beat.
Oh.
But if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It's a soft reboot, is what they call it now. A soft reboot.
Yeah. I can see that, and I don't think it was 100% a remake, but yeah, it definitely was. Like, yeah, but whatever. Anyway, let's move on from Star Wars, shall we? We could do this whole podcast about Star Wars, honestly, probably. But we do have some game news to talk about. You guys want to talk about that?
Yeah.
So, with Half-Life Alyx on the horizon.
I thought it was already out for some weird reason. I'm not sure why.
It's not. I don't know the exact release date. It is this year, though, right? This summer sometime?
Yeah, I guess.
I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head, to be honest.
I thought it was out like now. Half-Life Alyx. But it'd be all over the fucking internet. March 2020.
There you go. That's soon. That's in a couple months. Anyway, leading up to that. It's not tomorrow.
Checks date. No, it's not.
I swear. Yeah, leading up to that, all the Half-Life games are free on Steam. Allegedly.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's why I said Half-Life free. Get it?
Yeah, in the title.
Half-Life free confirmed.
Half-Life free confirmed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty clever.
Do you think they'll do a Half-Life 3 after, if Half-Life Alyx is successful?
I don't think it's... No, I don't think
so.
They haven't come out with anything 3.
Do you think they'll
Left
just
4 Dead 3,
keep it a meme
Half-Life.
forever?
I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on there. I think a big part of it is it's apparently Steam is one of the biggest. How do I phrase this properly? It makes the most money from the amount of employees that they have.
Yeah.
So like each of the employees makes just hand over fist, like just wads of cash daily, It makes so much money. And so like it's doing very well. So it's probably they've gotten out of the whole, the industry of like just making games in general,
Yeah.
So, and also too, like, how do you live up to the hype? How do you live up to that? Well, they wanted to do that. Apparently, was it Gaben or like that? He was really kind of like jealous of how Nintendo like makes their own consoles and then makes their games with their consoles. So, like the Wii was like really innovative and like games were like built around the console, like the Wii U and everything. And he's like, man, I'm just kind of jealous that like they get to do that. So I think that probably VR was kind of exciting to them at some point where they wanted to build games around their, VR headset. So,
right.
That's my thought. Last game, the card game that they came up with,
Dota. No, I don't know. I mean, all the games they come out with are just incredible games, though. Like they always.
Except that card game flopped hard, didn't it?
It flopped. I thought it did really well.
Flopped. No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I think people were okay. Maybe you're right.
Artifact, I think you're right.
People were. You can't for a while there. You couldn't even like search for Artifact because people were using Artifact as a category on Twitch for running porn.
Oh, jeez.
People were just running porn under Artifact, and that was like kind of like the under. Yeah, no one's even playing Artifact right now. So,
but is there porn?
Yeah. No, there's not.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Well, that's really cool though, because those games are dope. The Half-Life games, right? I played through the Half-Life games, but like what I cared about the most was the Half-Life mods. That was the best part of Half-Life was modding it.
The mods?
Yeah, did you ever do that as a kid?
No, I never played Half-Life as a kid. I played it recently. It's good. It's all it is to me is just Portal without portals. Like, I'm not kidding.
Yeah, that's what it is. Oh my god, that's fucking funny. Right on. We got some more news. There's a rumor that the PS5 official full reveal is coming February 5th. That's next week, right?
Oh my god, it is like next week.
Yeah. And then pre-orders happening promptly after that. So we might see like the actual full-blown reveal of the PS5 next week. And then I'm going to be broke.
Nice.
So I'm excited about that. Again, this is just a rumor. We've been living off of rumors for the next console generation forever. I was actually watching a video the other day, maybe it was earlier today, about the whole Switch Pro rumors, right? Like, we've been talking about Switch Pro for almost 2 years now, and Nintendo hasn't said a fucking thing about it, right? They're not shutting down rumors. They're not. But, like, if you think about it, it's just free advertisement for them. Like, we're just out here talking about Switch, right?
Right.
There might not be a Switch Pro.
I thought the extended battery life version, like the newest Switch,
that came out.
Yeah, I thought that.
But that came out like silently though. That already came
out.
Yeah,
that was a silent revision. Yeah,
like a soft like release basically.
Yeah.
No advertisement for that.
Exactly. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, we know for a fact the PS5 is coming out this year. It's only a matter of time before they announce it. It would make sense for them to announce it sooner than later, right? Yeah. They're not going to wait all the way up until holiday season to be like, oh, by the way, PS5's coming out. No, they're going to be like, hey, here's all these games that are coming for the PS5's coming this year. Go buy it. It's going to be dope. Oh, by the way, all your shit's backwards compatible.
Do you think that's why they pushed back Last of Us 2? You think that's why they pushed back Last of Us 2?
I think it's why they've pushed back every single one of their PS4 exclusives that has received a delay this year. I swear to God. Yeah. I'm confident. Yeah. So it only makes sense.
I mean, they're all going to be playable on there as backwards compatible, but do you think they're going to also come out with the PS5 version of them?
Okay, so let's put a pause on the backwards compatible thing. So we know for a fact it's going to be backwards compatible with PS4. That's all we know for a fact. Now, the rumor is it's going to be backwards compatible all the way back to PS1. That would be fucking dope. That would be such a game changer. But don't count on that. That's just a rumor. You know, like in the chat, we got people saying they're saving for a PC, but if it's got backwards compatibility, that's a sell. Let's wait until Sony says that before we, you know, throw our money at Sony. Because, yeah, that's definitely not confirmed, but it is a huge rumor, and God, I hope it's true. I hope to God it's true so bad, because I've talked about this every podcast for the last, like, 3 or 4 podcasts. I still have PlayStation games and PlayStation 2 games that I've been hanging on to on the bizarre chance that I would get something that was backwards compatible later on in life, right? So rather than just buying like the old system, I guess I could do that. Yeah. If you think about it, like if you incorporate all of the libraries of PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, and PS5, you're gonna have thousands of games. I think I heard the other day that it's over 4,000 games that you would have for that library, theoretically. Like if you were to incorporate every single game that came out for those systems, you know, to have that all playable on one system would be badass.
That'd be incredible. I would love that.
I would love that too.
I consider getting that at that point, you know. I hate the fact that I have to like keep on buying the latest thing to keep, you know, keep up, and then like have to be like, well, and I have to use this to play this and this to play this, you know. So yeah, back to compatibility to PS1. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll probably
have like Onimusha 2, you know.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite games of all times. So it's something that Colin and I share.
We should play it on stream. I would love to do that at some point.
I would hella do that. Yeah. I played Onimusha 1 on stream on the
I didn't know
Switch.
That.
Yeah.
Oh, the remake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should play the you know
I don't have a PS2.
Really? Oh, I used to have 2. I could have given you one. It broke though, unfortunately.
Yeah, mine broke.
I was literally bragging about it. I was like, this thing is indestructible. It's incredible. I love this thing. And like I've had it forever. I've had it since a kid. It's never like once had any issues. And then I hit start and the power light just slowly fades out and then never came back. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, I think it just died. And I was like, surely that's like just a fluke. You know, it's probably the power cable issue. And like, no, that was it. Just like fell asleep basically and never woke up.
Yeah, that's what happened to mine. I had a beautiful, beautiful original PS2. I swapped the case, so it was a clear green case that had a swap top. And so, like, you know how the old ones you had to press the button to exchange the disc? Well, you could pop open the top and take the disc out, which allowed for you to pirate games. I didn't use it to pirate games. But what I did, like the whole reason I bought it was, or that I did this mod on it, was so that I could play Kengo. I've talked about this before. I had to take this game. I imported it from Europe. I stripped it onto my computer. I re-encoded it to NTSC and then burned it onto a disc that I could then play on my swap top PlayStation. And
was it worth it?
It was so worth it. It was so worth it. But what ended up happening was I burned a bunch of DVDs onto like I burned a bunch of like movies and stuff onto shitty DVDs, poor quality ones with bad dye on them. And my girlfriend at the time would watch these DVDs on my PlayStation, and that ended up burning out the laser. And then I cried. Yeah, it was really awful.
That sucks.
Here's a story that I put in here specifically for Josh, because I know how much he loves Zelda. It's a bummer he wasn't able to make it to the podcast tonight. On this night that we rescheduled for him. So, there are R-Wings from Star Fox in Zelda Ocarina of Time.
This is known. This is known.
This has been known. This has been known for a while.
You know what it was for, right?
Wasn't it for, like, tracking on one of the bosses?
Yes.
Yeah.
Volvagia.
Mm-hmm.
Volvagia. There's no way to say that non-sexually. The dragon boss.
Yeah. Right.
The fire temple boss. Yeah. It was for that person.
Right.
That person. That thing.
So... We've known this for a long time, and that's cool, but the only way to get it to access these R-Wings within the game was with a Game Shark or some other kind of cheat device, right? Well, someone recently discovered a way to use ACE, which is arbitrary code execution.
What does that mean?
So it's a method used by speedrunners to basically change the code of the game without modifying the game in any way. So a good example of this is the Nugget Bridge trick to get Mew in the original Pokemon, right? Which basically what you're doing is you're doing actions within the game that are equivalent to like a hexadecimal code that tell the game to do certain things. That's like the simplest way I can describe it. Don't you pull that bullshit with the SSN truck, you liar. Because I tried it. I tried it so many times.
What are you talking about? What?
In chat, Mark Tool says under the truck before the SSN. So
didn't they like make a joke about that at like later games?
They did, yeah. It was a rumor. It was one of the earliest internet rumors, actually, about how to get Mew in the game without like a cheat device or without, getting it from one of like the events where they traded it to you. So, but yeah. Anyway, so apparently, yeah, you were able to get these fucking Star Fox R-Wings in the Zelda game. Ocarina of Time, and it's dope without using a cheat device. It's a very lengthy process. It's very complicated and difficult to do, but it's just kind of cool that it was doable, and that's why I added that in here. I just thought it was something cool to talk about, like the lengths that people go to discover cool shit in video games is wild, you know? I think so, at least.
Well, I thought one of the earliest ones was like Luigi and Mario 64. That was one of the early things I saw. Like that was like a myth or something like that. Like on the internet, you know? Like what?
I just said a whole thing completely.
You said you said Pokemon. You said Pokemon.
I did like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're right. Pokemon, I would say it was one of the first, like one of the very early internet rumors.
Was it the first? I thought like, okay.
I don't think it was the first.
I kind of tuned you out a little bit when you said like one of the first. I was like, I don't think that's right.
Oh, it's definitely right that it's one of the early like internet gaming rumors.
Video games. I'm looking this up right now.
Oh, you're looking it up. All right.
Yes.
Oh, a live lookup. Wow.
Yeah. We got young Jamie.
The status of the Super NES CD-ROM. Donkey Kong's headed to CD-ROM. Sega Saturn will have backwards compatibility. Mario 5. Oh, none of these are like really good.
Yeah.
I think it would be hard to track down.
These are like 90s ones too.
This was a 90s one, right? 96 is when Pokemon came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny though too, because like the internet's so fractured now that like, you know, a big video comes out and you're like, I didn't see that, you know. But like back then it was like everyone knew about like the biggest.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything came out. That was really, I think that was kind of neat.
It is. I kind of miss that about the internet. It's such a weird place now. Such a weird place. Couple other news stories. Microsoft's looking to buy at least one Japanese company. This isn't like a big surprise, Phil Spencer has been going over to Japan at least once a year and just like checking shit out. There was a big rumor last year, I believe, that Microsoft was looking to buy Sega, which would be huge. That would be massive. Because even though Sega doesn't create,
what does Sega have though? What does Sega have besides
I'll tell
Sonic?
I'll tell you what Sega has.
All right.
So, Sega, you'd be surprised how many games are Sega games, by the way, if you just like look that up. But they don't have a console anymore, right? That's fine, whatever. They're not as big of a presence here. In Japan, they're massive. Like all the game centers, like all the giant arcades and stuff, they're all Sega arcades. And again, like from an American's perspective, that doesn't sound like a lot, but those places are huge and they're dope as fuck. Like if you ever go there, it's going to be impossible to miss them, right? They're everywhere and they're huge and they're awesome and they make tons and tons of money, right? So Sega still is like, even though they are putting out a lot of video games, mostly, they don't have any like crazy shit like Sonic. Like that's pretty much their only like big first party title that you would know off the top of your head. But
Total War.
Huh?
The Total War series.
Oh yeah, the Total War series. Isn't Sega also behind Yakuza?
Yakuza, Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah. See, so if you actually look, there's a bunch, right? Like you don't think of it off the top of your head, like associate those games with Sega, but they are putting out a lot of games. You know what I'm saying? So that would be huge, like especially because one of the things that Xbox has struggled with for a really long time is the Japanese audience, right? They just haven't had one. But if they were to acquire a giant company like Sega, which is still huge in Japan, even though it may not be here, that would do two things. Number one, it would probably bolster Sega and they would be putting out more games like what they used to be, right? They'd obviously not have a console because they'd be owned by Microsoft, but they'd still be putting out a fuck ton of games, I would imagine. And number two, they would like get confidence in Microsoft from the Japanese, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Like Microsoft has been buying up a ton of companies.
I don't like when Microsoft buys things up, honestly. I don't know. They're not very good at marketing is the problem. They have some really cool ideas, but like they're just not very good at marketing their stuff. Kind of like Google, So, and like, what are some things they've done well with things they've bought up? Like, can you name anything that they're just like, they bought this up and it took off, They bought up this and it did really well. Like, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is like Halo at this point, I guess. They bought Bungie.
Yeah, they've they didn't buy Bungie. They bought Halo from Bungie.
Yeah, Bungie. And and that did really well for a while. Then that's it. They bought
but all the best
Halo
games are the ones that were created by Bungie, not 343.
That's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I off the top of my head, I honestly couldn't say what they've done well with companies that they bought up. But I will say this. The reason that they lost this console generation, right? They had the upper hand by a wide margin with Xbox 360, right? But then you take the jump to Xbox One, beyond the whole like always on camera kerfuffle when they announced the damn thing, they also didn't have any exclusives. Like any, really. Whereas PlayStation had some freaking killer exclusives. And so what Xbox is trying to do is buy up a whole bunch of studios that
get exclusives,
make awesome games and get those exclusives. So in this next console generation, they're gonna come out swinging.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. That's probably what do you always say? The move. That's probably the move.
Yeah, that's the move.
They do have like a lot of money to throw around, so that's, I guess, I don't know. Maybe we'll see it turn around and like do well. I like to see like when other consoles do well because it gives competition and makes other consoles, force their hand to like change things up. So like I know like Nintendo had to compete with the online market, so they had to like get better with their online stuff, because for the longest time it was a joke. It's still not great, but like, you're seeing just like how like for a while they were like, what, PlayStation was free online, and then they had to like switch up their model as well. So yeah, I hope they do well, I guess. That way you can see more. The only thing I don't like though, I guess, and like in the end, I don't know how they can keep on doing this, because like technology is just rapidly evolving. Like, how can they continue to do this with making consoles every few years? That it's so expensive and they lose money on them.
Yeah. I think this is the last console generation.
No way, really?
Yeah,
that's a bold statement.
I think that, well, if you think about it, a console generation lasts about what, like 8 to 10 years?
That's what Xbox 360 was, yeah.
Right. So, we're on the precipice of cloud gaming. We're on the precipice of cloud computing in general, right? We're not there yet, but we're seeing the first iterations of that. We're seeing Google Stadia. We're seeing the Project X Cloud. I'm sure Sony's going to have a streaming service. Amazon's talking about getting in a streaming service. Apple's talking about getting into a game streaming service. Like, that's the direction the industry is moving. I don't think it's going to be complete this generation, but I do think that next generation we're going to see. I don't think that we're going to have a ton of crazy hardware in whatever box, right? We're going to have our Xbox, but it's going to basically just be a thin client that connects to a server that is processing.
So it'll still be locked to like different well, it'd be kind of like streaming is now with like, you have Disney Plus, which only has these movies, you have Netflix, which only has these movies, and like, all the rest of them that are, I don't know. Hulu, I guess. So
I think it's going to be the last generation, but I think it's going to be for a completely different reason. I don't think they're going to go towards cloud computing, because if you want to get like that high end like stuff, you need some sort of like physical computing in front of you.
Right now you do, but in 10 years, do you think you still will?
Maybe. It depends. I don't know. But I think this will be the last generation, mainly because of how they've been going. Like, you see how went from the Xbox One to the One S to the One X. I think that's how they're going to evolve from now on. This is going to be the last generation, but they're going to come out with a whole bunch of different like iterations on it. So kind of like how the DS did it, actually. It went from like the DS to the 3DS, and the 3DS could play everything before it, but once...
Yeah.
And then the new 3DS, same thing. The new 3DS can play all the 3DS games and all the DS games, but...
I think we're already there, right? Like we had the Xbox One, then we had the what was it called? One X, the Xbox One X. We had the PlayStation 4. We had got the PlayStation 4 Pro. I ran out of breath while I was talking. I think that we're probably going to see that in this next generation, and that's what they're going to do to extend that. But I think at the end of that life cycle, we're going to be at some new thing, whether that's cloud gaming or something else. If we're all putting a computer chip in our head and that's how we fucking play video games, I just don't think. I think that the model of console, maybe VR. Fuck it, man, maybe. I just think that the model of console that we have now is very quickly on its way out, and I think this is definitely the last generation. RW Star said something about a Sony PC. Funny you mentioned that. So you know how Xbox has Game Pass, and that also allows you to play games on PC. And Xbox exclusives. There is a rumor, I've never put this in our notes because I don't know how credible any of this is, but this rumor's actually been around for a little bit, that Sony is developing their own subscription program that will allow for the playability of Sony exclusive games on PC.
That'd be cool.
It would be cool. If you guys could play God of War on PC, it'd be cool, right? No. Allegedly, right now, actually, you can do that. You can stream games from your PlayStation onto your PC. But in the future, allegedly, with this service, you'll actually have like full-on playable games installed on your PC. Again, that's a rumor. Take that with a huge grain of salt. Like I said, the reason I haven't reported on it before is because there's not really any like juicy credibility to that, but who knows? So just something to think about. Yeah. Final bit of news that we had, guys, is Atari themed gaming hotels are coming to 8 major US cities.
But why?
Thank you, Colin.
That's a good question.
That is a good question. But why? Here's where I feel about that. Look at Atari's track record recently. It's been really, really bad. I'm all for a gaming themed hotel. That sounds dope. But the last couple products that Atari has come out with, including the Atari VCS, which is supposedly their new console, have been basically scams. Allegedly, the VCS is still coming out, but they had some wristwatch and some other bullshit a couple of years before that was just a total, like, actual Kickstarter scam. I don't know how much trust I would put into Atari at all at this point. You know what I mean? And again, the VCS was supposed to come out like 3 years ago, and they keep pushing that back as well. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about Atari themed hotels when Atari can't get their shit together in any other department?
I won't go. I don't. That wouldn't be exciting to me. I wouldn't be like, wow, Atari, cool.
Yeah, no.
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you see that Nintendo announced that Super Mario World's coming to the US?
I did not see that.
Yeah, it's coming to Universal in 2023.
That's kind of badass.
Or Super Nintendo World, something like that. I'm not sure what it's called.
Yeah, the Nintendo theme park.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
That's really cool.
I want that. See, that'd be cool. I'd go spend a hotel at a theme park.
Yeah, Universal in Orlando going to.
That sounds awesome. They actually already have a Nintendo themed place, but it's in like Japan or something like that. So.
Yeah, it's being built in Japan.
Oh, I thought that already happened.
Universal.
I've seen a trailer for it.
Is it out? I don't know if it's open.
I saw like video of it as if it was like already happening.
Well, there's already one in Japan, right? Didn't that recently open?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it was open or not. I just know that I just saw the ones. It's coming to the US, which is awesome.
That is badass. I'm a fan.
I want to go.
Yeah, let's all go. Let's do it, all of us together.
Okay. We can like live stream
as a
it.
family. That would be dope, actually.
That sounds awesome. I really hope we're actually doing this.
Yeah, I'm down. I mean, yeah, whenever it actually comes to fruition, I'm super down.
3 years.
3 years. We got 3 years to plan this out. Who's coming with me?
Yeah.
All right. That wraps up the news. Colin had a game of the week. I didn't get to play it, so we're gonna extend that to next week as well. It is Outlast, which is a horror game, and I'm gonna try and play it on stream this week. So check that out if you get a chance. And then let's close with a topic. We talked about sequels, right? No, not sequels, remakes. We talked about remakes earlier in our kind of pre-show thing, and what everyone kind of thinks about remakes in general. We've seen a lot of games remade recently, some good, some not so good. In particular, we've had in the last few years Shadow of the Colossus, which was fucking awesome. We've had Resident Evil 2 almost won Game of the Year, even though it is an old-ass game. You've got Resident Evil 3 on the horizon. What do you guys think? How do you guys feel about remakes in general? Good, bad, indifferent?
I love them. I think they're great. I mean, I love the nostalgic, the old, the things that like I used to play that are being remade and being reshown to a new generation of people that maybe wouldn't have played them or even looked at them,
Yeah.
Because the graphics were too bad, or maybe like there was a lot of like quality of life adjustments they really needed, that we kind of fumbled through as kids. But I also see a lack of creativity for new things as well, which, to be fair, I'd be more likely to buy an old, remade thing than to buy a brand new IP, So like, I get it. I get that I'm probably at fault for pushing this way forward of remake after remake after remake, but also too, like, I like to see creative things come out as well.
That's a really valid point that you just made, and that's something that a lot of game creators take into consideration too, is that anytime you're creating a new IP, you're taking a huge risk. You're putting a ton of resources into that game, and it could fall on its ass. And you're 100% right. That's why we don't see a ton of like brand new IPs coming out. Yeah, what were you saying, Jamali?
Yeah, I agree with Colin. It's like, I like the nostalgia feel with a lot of the games, but if I want a remake, I want it to be completely remade from the ground up. I don't want it to be like, well, here's the same game, we updated the graphics a little bit for you. Like Final Fantasy VII, how they're completely redoing the battle system. They're completely adding new content and all that. Because if I wanted to play the original, I'd go play the original. But
so that's like the difference between a remake and a remaster, right? So like a remaster would be, like I mentioned before, Onimusha on the Nintendo Switch. They didn't really they didn't remake it at all, right? They kind of polished it up a little bit and slapped it on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, it's fine. Like, I enjoyed it. I still enjoyed playing through it.
Have you played like Banjo-Kazooie? That's like a good like remaster in my opinion, Like they fixed a bunch of like quality of life adjustments as well as made the graphics HD,
Right.
Like,
well, and that's what I'm saying. So they did do that with Onimusha. The graphics are now HD. The controls are better, right? Like, you remember how shitty the controls were. They're just like the original Resident Evil controls, right?
Yeah, they're really bad.
They're so bad. But in the new version, you can have like normal console controls, which is nice. What else? What else about it? Yeah, but I mean, other than that, it's still the same game. Whereas the Shadow of the Colossus remake was a remake from the ground up, right?
Oh, it was?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I haven't played the first one, so I don't even know about the second one.
It is one of the best fucking games ever made.
Remake?
Any iteration. Yeah, I would recommend the remake. But yeah, really any iteration of that game. It's a classic that literally, if you have a chance to play it, I would recommend that to anyone.
Nice.
So yeah, I guess I'm in the same boat with you guys. I'm all for remakes as long as they do it justice. I think that that Final Fantasy remake is actually a good thing to look at, right? The new one that's coming out is not the whole game. It's only part of it. Now, allegedly they're adding a lot to the game to make it worthwhile, to make it earn that $60 price tag. But what do you think about that? Like taking a old game that's a classic and then chopping it up and throwing it out there. Yeah, Final Fantasy 12, that was a remaster, right? I got that on Switch as well. So it wasn't a remake from the ground up, it was a remaster. Chat brought up Final Fantasy 12. But yeah, what do you think about that? About them chopping up an old game and remaking it into more than one new game?
So in this particular circumstance, I think I'm skeptical because we're going into a new generation right now.
Yeah.
So you're telling me now I think it's just a money grab, to be honest. in Final Fantasy VII's case, because you have, well, we're going to release you this part, and then we're going to release you another part. If it's not the second half of the game, then they'll release you a third part. So that's $180 right there for just the base game.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Assuming it's 3 parts. And then, I mean, you know they're going to come out with a collector.
Well, and
here, have all 3 at once.
You're 100% right. Also, this is coming out right before the generation jump, right? So the other 2, or, you know, however many other games they make out of it, are going to come out on the PS5, meaning that even if you played the first one on PS4, you have to then buy a PS5 if you want to play the rest of it.
Yep.
Yeah. Ugh. Yuck. The original, I believe, was 3 discs.
Yes, it's 3 discs.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's really, we're going to have to wait and see how much content is in the first version. If it's not enough, like if it's not a fucking 100 hours or close to 70, 80 hours of gameplay, then I don't know if that's going to be worth it.
Allegedly, it's up until the end of Midgard.
Right. Which is what, the first third of the game?
Maybe. Something close to it, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I think it was just about the first disc. So that's kind of surprising.
Yeah, now they're expounding on a lot of that, right?
Yeah, they say they're adding a whole bunch.
Yeah.
The other big thing is, now other games have done this in the past. The Dot Hack series, I guess, is one of them that's notable for doing this. I really didn't play them, so it's hard. But like, how do you bring in a newcomer into Final Fantasy VII Part 2? If they just bought the second part, and they never played the first part.
Oh yeah.
Do they have to go back and play it? Or are you just going to give them, well, here's stats for 40? Or are they going to basically Mass Effect 2 it and be like, well, you have to start at 0 now. Everyone has started at 0. And then even though you spent 300 hours grinding out that first disc and maxed your level up there. So that's the other thing that I have an issue with.
Yeah. I'm with you there. That's a whole nother realm. I don't know. I don't think they're targeting newbies with this, right? Like, this remake's definitely for the people who love Final Fantasy, particularly Final Fantasy VII. I'm sure they will get some more people in with it, but I think that they know their demographic with this one, for sure. And that everyone that's a fanatic about Final Fantasy VII, that's their favorite game, right? They're all gonna buy it. All 3 parts, or however many parts. Don't you think? I would imagine.
Yeah, that's a weird business model. I think they're gonna piss people off,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'd be irritated if they broke up like my Zelda game or something.
Yeah.
I don't
know. Do you guys have any other closing thoughts on that?
Nope.
Hey, we actually made it an hour. I thought we were going to go short tonight. That was good.
I did too. That was
nice. Well, I'm Paul. You're on my channel. This is Ryugami-san. I stream on this channel on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. And you can find me on Twitter at Ryugami-sama. And then... Yep, go ahead, Jamali. Sorry.
Oh, I'm Jamali. You can find me at Twitch, Jamali0. I haven't really been streaming lately, but maybe I'll get back into it here shortly. I'm going to try to, at least.
There you go.
Can't believe you haven't been streaming, dude. That's crazy.
Speaking of haven't been streaming.
I know.
You streaming tonight?
I don't think so.
Oh, Colin, you were going to.
We've already done this, so.
No, go stream.
If we didn't. Nah, I don't think so.
You gonna stream tomorrow night?
I'm gonna try. Yeah.
Do it.
Much during the day, actually. Much like earlier. So.
Yeah.
Just something chill. So. Like Don't Starve Together or something. So, all right, we can raid Lord Yeshua.
Cool, let's do it. I don't know. I feel like he doesn't deserve it tonight, but whatever.
That's probably true.
We're friends. We'll do it.
He's still playing Majora's Mask, right?
He is, yes.
I'm having a brain fart. Here we go, Lord Yeshua. There we go. All right, we're going. We're headed over to Lord Yeshua's channel. Thanks, everyone, for coming out tonight. It was a blast. We'll be back next week. And that's about it. Goodbye. Love you. Bye.